You know who needs 100 amazing job search tips and advice? You do, and they're a gift to you from me. You'll get these free resources when you register for Break the Six-Figure Salary Barrier, Master Your Executive Job Search, a free training webinar for you. Visit 5strengths.com/webinar to register now. That's 5strengths.com/webinar. It's for smart executives like you who are ready to take the next giant step in their careers. Now on to the show. Hello, I'm Amy L. Adler, Executive Resume Writer of 5 Strengths Career Transition Experts, and I'm coming to you via the podcast called Your Job Search Coach. Today, I want to talk to you about publishing your way to executive thought leadership. So in no way can we call ourselves thought leaders, but we can position ourselves as job seekers, as experts in our industry or experts in our field. And one of the greatest challenges executive job seekers face as they're rising through the corporate structure is how are they going to influence corporate behavior across an organization or influence change across an industry? How can you do that from just your desk? Doing good work that encourages change and growth in your company, of course, is always the first step. Broadening your influence to publishing platforms will be the second. So let's talk about those. One of the best ways for you to demonstrate your expertise so that other people can read it and learn about you is to publish on your knowledge. You can do this in a couple of ways. For the purposes of this discussion, we're going to call this a blog. But you can publish on your own blog, on your own website, or on LinkedIn, or on Facebook, or anywhere else you happen to live and breathe online. But let's say we're going to call this a blog. So by writing a blog on your chosen industry, you can immediately develop a strong online presence, and a search for your name and expertise will reveal this website. You should also know that starting a blog is an easy thing to do. It has a low barrier to entry, and it enables you to start building a following starting right now. The first thing you need to do to make that happen, of course, is to develop a plan for your own thought leadership and influence as revealed in your online presence. So it's going to take the following steps. Number 1, choose a blogging platform. You can choose a free blogging platform such as WordPress.com, or you can buy a URL and install WordPress, which is free to use. And you can expect to pay just a little bit per month or annually to host WordPress. But for the most part, it's low cost and low entry to barrier from an expense standpoint. Of course, if you're using LinkedIn is essentially free to use. You don't have to pay for an upgraded membership to do this. And then you can publish articles and microblog, but recognize that ownership of that content might not rest with you the way it would in your own hosted blog. So number 2, choose a focus for your blog. Your blog should reflect your expertise to be credible. If you're building an executive strategy, momentum, for example, let's pick something, cloud-based executive dashboards, then you need to develop a position for your blog in that industry. Talking about other things might not be as relevant as would be talking about how your company or how your work is changing your industry from the inside. Number 3, and this is one that lots of people skip because it's easy to skip, it's easy to forget to plan, and that's to develop an editorial calendar. Major publishers have editorial calendars, and even publishers of one need one too, to ensure that you're covering all the major topics that you want to influence. So first develop a list of broad industry topics, and then assign them particular days or weeks to ensure that you don't neglect what you want to talk about from your unique perspective. Remember that you're planning for the long haul, not just a few articles in hoping that somebody will find 3 or 4 articles. You're looking for the long haul here. So to that end, number 4, you have to decide on the format and length of your blog articles. So longer articles are going to be picked up by Google for sure in a way that microblogging isn't, but even some of our most famous bloggers out there only publish 300 words at a time. So you can decide, are you going to be the Seth Godin and publish multiple times in 200 to 300 word articles, or are you going to publish once a month, but each one's going to be 2,000 words and in depth? This directly relates to number 5, which is determine the schedule on which you want to publish. So if you publish every day, short blog posts, you can do that 3 times a week. You can do that Mondays at 4:30. The first of every month, you can decide, as long as you're consistent, because your audience is going to expect to see something new at the time you choose. The key is consistency. Number 6, promote your blog on your social media. Particularly for job seekers, that's going to be on LinkedIn, and that's really easy to do. Groups and in your feed are good places to promote the things that you're talking about, but not only from your blog and your perspective. Make sure you're sharing other pieces of information and commenting on other people's stuff so that you don't sound like a one-trick pony, but people have an opportunity to learn more about you when they come to see your profile and they see that you've published more of what they're interested in. So if you also want to expand that, you can go to industry-specific sites or see if you can share your content with like-minded bloggers in similar arenas and see if you can get some guest posts linking back to your blog. Either way, you're showing that you have influence within your circle, which should lend you some credibility. Number 7 is stay with the project. Writing your blog for executive thought leadership might feel like you are trying to do the impossible. Particularly as you are getting started, it might seem like a huge mountain to climb to set up this thing, get it going, and then be consistent about it. But the more you stick with your efforts, the more influence you will develop online. Because remember, you're publishing new stuff on a schedule, but your audience is also looking back to see what you have done. So your older articles should have longevity as well. Of course, this is all predicated, again, on your ability to understand very deeply what your own platform is, what you want out of this approach to thought leadership or approach to disseminating what you believe to be important about your industry and function to the world. If that is more of a question and you feel like it's more scattershot, then probably this isn't the right thing to start with, and you need to sort of figure out where you want to land and guide all of your strategy to that. And of course, every good job search, regardless of whether you're building a blog to support it or not, depends on focus, depends on your understanding exactly what you want out of your job search, and exactly what is going to be fulfilling to you as you climb the executive ladder. With that, I will thank you for staying with me today as we talk about how to be an influencer in your industry through online publication. If you want to reach me at Your Job Search Coach Podcast, please call 801-810-5627. I'm curious, have you started a blog? And if you have, what has your experience been? Let me know. Thanks again.